Let's get this for YouTube, too. Hi, YouTube. Emergency. Michael Cohen, President Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, stated Tuesday that Trump directed him to pay women to stay silent about damaging stories during the 2016 campaign. The statement came as part of a plea deal that Cohen struck Tuesday afternoon with federal prosecutors in New York. Quote, I participated in the conduct for the purposes of influencing the election, Cohen said in court. Original story. Michael Cohen, President Donald Trump's combative former personal lawyer, said in federal court in New York on Tuesday that he will plead guilty to federal charges which include campaign finance fraud from payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels and ex-Playboy model Karen McDougal, according to the Associated Press. We got to get that one more time, right? We're not done. We're not done. Cohen is pleading guilty to charges of tax evasion, false statements to financial institutions, willful cause of unlawful corporate contribution, and excessive campaign contribution. Cohen agreed to his plea deal to not challenge any sentence from 46 to 63 months. Both Daniels and McDougal have claimed that they had affairs with Trump, which the president denied. A source close to Cohen said prior to the plea that Cohen agreed to the plea deal to, quote, save millions of dollars, protect his family, and limit his exposure. Let's get down to the Mueller part. Mueller's team has been pursuing legal action against Trump associates for months. The special counsel has already secured indictments against former campaign chairman Paul Manafort, who has been in trial in Virginia, where a jury is deliberating on multiple counts of bank and tax fraud. Former campaign ads Rick Gates and George Papadopoulos, as well as former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, are among those who have pled guilty in the Mueller probe. So, is this the extended poop buffet theme? I mean, I guess we do deserve that, right? We do deserve maybe just one little you know, I mean, we'll just maybe we'll just cue it up a little bit. Hello. The poop buffet. The poop buffet. Who's first in line today for the poop buffet? Oh, what's that? Oh, there's two of you? You have a Groupon? Don't worry, friends. Here at the Poop Buffet, there's room for everybody. At the Poop Buffet. All right. So, what does this mean? On a scale of everything's on fire to nothing to see here, this is more everything's on fire. If you have heard me say, calm down, calm down, calm down, it's because we're waiting for things like this. A few things that I believe I know. Number one, you do not marshal a special counsel. You do not spend the kind of time, money, and effort that Robert Mueller has spent on this special counsel and not get scalps. You can't. You can't have that amount of resources pointed at something that obviously something is going to be fucked up and not get scalps. So he has 2 scalps here. This does get us closer to the president. I think more Cohen than Manafort. I mean, Trump's already been reported as saying that he thought Manafort was a criminal, like, during the campaign. And when everyone's like, oh, okay, well, he was his campaign manager. That's true. He absolutely was. Manafort, remember, was brought in because, A, Corey Lewandowski was such a fucking a-hole that he couldn't calm down a situation where he had an argument with a Breitbart reporter. So you have to bring in an adult. And the adult that was brought in was Manafort because at the time, if you remember, this Ted Cruz was outmaneuvering Donald Trump for delegates so he could possibly mount a contested campaign. Or a contested convention, rather. Now, the stuff that Manafort has gone down for is mostly taking money from foreign agents and stuff like that. That would be probably more relevant to the Trump-Russia stuff than anything else going forward, if that's where we're going with the Mueller investigation. Cohen, on the other hand, is somebody that has always been said that he knows where all of the bodies are buried, and has now implicated Donald Trump on, let's see if we can get the verbiage on that. Dead right. I participated in the conduct for the purposes of interfering in the election, and he was directed by the candidate. MD Talk. All right, so we're going to get there, but MD Talk, if I don't get back to the pardon thing, remind me. So, right now, Cohen is the pathway into, at the very least, campaign finance issues that you can bring up against the president. Now, in general, the penalties on those aren't crazy. However, if he, as part of his plea deal, is saying, well, I also saw some other stuff, or I also was the bag man for information or money, that's a different story. Now, Manafort, pardons. The political reality that we live in right now is that there are 2 very, very, very big things in flux. Number 1, Donald Trump has a Supreme Court nominee that has yet to be voted on in the Senate. And number 2, the midterms are coming up in a couple months. So, how does this affect both? The Kavanaugh thing's probably the most clearly affected because Supreme Court nomination stuff is more affected by making the decision in the moment. This is a very in the moment situation. So if all you have from the Democratic side is to throw dirt on and create a more complicated situation to confirm Kavanaugh, which is all they really have because they can't, they don't have the numbers to block it. Like, they're not looking at themselves. They're not looking at enforcing party line for themselves. They're looking at flipping other people. if that's the case, then they just got a lot of dirt to throw. They got one of them, remember when Cards Against Humanity dug that hole in the middle of nowhere? Like that amount of dirt. Oh, by the way, guys, and for those of you listening on podcast or watching on YouTube after the fact, know that all this is breaking as I am talking. So there is literally, if this sounds rambly and non-preppy, it's because it's rambly and non-preppy. I literally just wanted to go live and because I was sitting in front of the computer and I'm like, well, fuck it. I mean, I'm either going to tweet about this or I'm going to talk about it live. So I'm better at talking than I am tweeting. So if there is stuff here about Cohen's plea deal, then please go ahead and throw those links in the chat. So, midterms. The midterms are a different story because I don't know for sure whether a let's impeach this asshole strategy is better for exciting Democrats or exciting Republicans. All right, so I'll put this up on screen here. This is courtesy of NBC News, and by courtesy, I mean I'm just fucking using it. So, okay, I don't want to read this while we're recording the podcast. However, it is up now. If anybody wants to read it and put in relevant stuff into the chat, then please do, because I'll be happy to read it and talk about it. You guys officially are now my producers. Not to say that you weren't always. So I don't know midterm wise if this is right, if from this moment on this becomes vote Republican if you want to keep Donald Trump, vote Democrat if you want to impeach him, then I'm not sure whether or not that wakes up sleepy GOP or it further motivates an already excited Democratic Party. My sense is it will probably excite just as many, if not more, conservatives who now have battle lines drawn than it will excite, again, an already overly, relative to the mean, excited Democratic base. But we don't know. Now, I think it was MD Talk mentioned pardoning, because that's the mood in the air right now. There were 10 counts of Manafort's sentencing that were declared a mistrial. The opportunity to retry those, the opportunity to cut a deal, probably still remain, or does still remain with Manafort. On the other end, Donald Trump pardoning Manafort is very much in play. The issue there, of course, is that, well, now we're in it. Like, no more, hey, witch hunt. If Donald Trump pardons Paul Manafort, this ends uglier than it would be otherwise. We're done with, we're just going to let Manafort, or sorry, we're just going to let Mueller do what he wants. Oh, doctor's here. Hi, doctor. Doctor. Oh, hi, doctor. Freebird TV, the thing about the Dems versus conservatives is that Dems always need a cause or person to rally behind. Conservatives just show up no matter what. Vote red down the ballot without a thought behind it. I think that's probably a little bit of a generalization, and not necessarily where the numbers have been recently, at least. Humanoid 167 now coming out that Larry Kudlow had Peter Brimlau at his home for a party last weekend. The same Brimlow, frequently described as a white nationalist, and whom a White House speechwriter was fired for bringing on a conference panel. Okay, that's way down the list of things that are important today, but cool. MDTA UK, which I said MD talk. Trump would spin it as defending the truth of America. However he spins it, that's stuff that will scare conservative Congress people. That's going to Trump's followers right now matter less than whether or not he's going to get impeached. And the only way he's going to get impeached is if the mood in the country changes. And like I've said a million times, why aren't the Republicans throwing him over the bus or under the bus? Why aren't they throwing him overboard? Why, when he says to grab him in the pussy, won't they fucking scream and yell and just tell everybody to vote for somebody else, even though he's the nominee? Why won't they sacrifice this election? Until he becomes more of a liability than he is an asset, then he will be defended. Pardoning somebody who just went to jail for interacting inappropriately with foreign agencies, you become more of a liability. Now, I'm not here to say that they would go all the way, that it's all the way one thing, right? I'm saying that it's more down that line than we have seen to this point. Also, up till now, yes, you are right in probably saying that how he's going to spin it, but he has not made those moves yet. That's not a thing that's happened. So the issue here is how something like this, because now the question is Donald Trump's proposition to congressional Republicans for whom he does not have a good relationship with is shut up, vote how I want you to vote, and don't worry, we're going to head to the Winchester and wait for this to all blow over. If he pardons Manafort, this very quickly becomes a are you with me, ride or die situation. Because you now have to go out and defend pardoning Paul Manafort. Now, let's not get too far into the impeachment talk. I think that that's probably best understood today, right now, as a campaign motivational tactic. Because nothing's going to happen until after the midterms. At all. Freebird TV, isn't it already a ride or die situation with all the White House scrambling going on this afternoon? Today's still going on, so we're going to find out. I'm saying before today and before whatever happens by the end of today. Humanoid 167, if they don't ride with Trump, the GOP voter base, 85 to 90% of which is behind Trump, will ensure their careers die. Oh, yes, and we'll see where this ends. We'll see where this ends. We're seeing here, he won't pardon Paul Manafort. No benefit for Trump. I mean, the benefit for Trump is that he doesn't cooperate with Mueller. Wolfgang, they just showed Trump's initial response to everything that they said while he was at the airport. He said, it has nothing to do with me. It's a sad day. Witch hunt, no collusion. Why does the name Manafort sound like a Hearthstone spell card? What would Manafort be? Manafort would be something that it would be like a what? 5 mana You know, like refresh your refresh all mana for 5 mana or something like that. Hey, thank you for the bits. Definitely a mage spell. Yeah, no. Wolfgang, if that is Donald Trump's take, then if that's his reaction, I don't think that's a change. Now, if we're going to read the writing on the wall, then that would not bode well for a Manafort pardon. If it doesn't bode well for a Manafort pardon, then the question is Manafort going to cooperate with Mueller? The other side of this, and I don't want to get too like in the weeds here, but Manafort's not a young man. Can somebody find Manafort's age? Like, this is quite possibly a life in prison situation. He's 69. Nice. So we don't know. I gotta get the Jamie Foxx. We gotta get the Jamie Foxx Black Bush. As the president calls them, random. All right, here we go. We got to get this clip. I've been watching so much Chappelle Show stuff.
Take my word for it. Why don't you ask Tony Blair? He got a whole nother set of intelligence. What's up, Tony?
We don't know much about this man.
Here's whenever I say we don't know, this is the voice I hear it in.
He got a whole nother set of intelligence. What's up, Tony?
We don't know much about
this. We don't know.
But we can't trust random niggas with things like that, as George so eloquently put it. I'm with him 100% of the way. We don't know what he has.
All right. That is my official statement on Cohen. That we don't know what he has. Paul Manafort born on April Fool's Day. Passant d'Avril. April fish. All right. Is there anything else breaking? This is going to be a really fucking easy newsletter to write. It's going to be an easy show to do tomorrow. I'll tell you that. All right, this is an opinion piece from The Hill. This is up on Drudge, which, I'll tell you, man, listen to me now, believe me later on. You got to read Drudge when it comes to shit like this, because he knows stuff that he doesn't want to say. Manafort guilty verdict raises chances of pardon by Trump. Prosecutors from the Office of Special Counsel left the courthouse in Alexandria on Tuesday with their first major conviction, given the 8 guilty verdicts against Paul Manafort for bank and tax fraud out of the 18 counts he faced. For many observers, however, a reasonable question can be raised as to what this all means. This obviously is not the set of crimes that Special Counsel Robert Mueller was appointed to pursue, as noted by the openly skeptical trial judge in the case. Mueller clearly was pursuing Donald Trump and not these particular crimes. The question now is whether these convictions will further concentrate Mueller on flipping against Trump. If not, Mueller will be left looking like the guy who showed up at a bass fishing competition with a trophy deer head. It may be an impressive 8-count buck of a defendant, but it's still not the game he was supposed to catch. I don't know. That seems a little, seems like a little bit of a bad take. Might have a bad take alert. Bad take alert. Yeah, we have here in the chat, the best part about the Cohen plea was that he admitted to paying Daniels at the direction of Trump for the benefit of the campaign. That is, look, there is no doubt about it. It now legitimizes Stormy Daniels as a story, as well as Karen McDougal. Doctor has found a dark spot here in the in the studio and is now singing. Freebird TV. I have to say this is interesting. All that's going on CNN, MSNBC, NPR, they're all fawning over it. Fox News ignoring it to show information about a murderer in Iowa. Man, why do y'all get so worked up about what Fox News does? Like, I never got that. Who gives a fuck what Fox News is doing? Like, are we really, like, let's even just say that they're bad at their job. Like, cool. They're television news. It's fine. Whoever had all that big of expectations about him to begin with? So Trump does have a rally in West Virginia tonight. That's going to be a big deal. And apparently Omarosa is going to drop another tape on Hardball. Tallies are up. People get pissed because Fox is the only source for a ton of information for a ton of people and it's contributed a lot to our diminished discourse. I mean, I don't know. The diminished discourse thing I will argue with. I'm just going to say this. This is my only take on that argument. There's been a lot of people getting a lot of shitty information from a lot of places for a very long time. Like the fact that we are now piling on one of the most disreputable forms of information, 24-hour cable news, as the end-all be-all of all that in an era of fucking monopoly-controlled news outlets and an era where there were 4 channels, period, 3 channels, period, and many of which in rural areas didn't exist. Like, we survived that. We can survive this. Did I get the Kudlow report? Yeah, I don't know really what to make of that amongst all the gigantic shit that is happening right now. Humanoid 167. I expect if Trump mentions it at all in his rally to be the same thing he did in talking to reporters. Either basically, hey, it isn't Russia. Oh, I expect him to talk about it. He gonna talk about it. You want to talk about it? Oh, no, it's on. He is going to talk about it. That dude can't stay away from the hot topic. And there ain't no topic hotter than his favorite topic of all. Him. Now, I think he's going to shit on Cohen. I think that's the case. Hey, speaking of Fox News, let's go to their reaction here.
Guilty pleas, 5 counts of tax evasion, 1 count of making a false statement to a financial institution, 1 count of willfully causing an unlawful corporate contribution, 1 count of making an excessive campaign contribution. The most potentially damaging legally, politically, is that campaign finance violation.
Absolutely. I mean, unless this unidentified candidate is Bernie Sanders, it's going to be bad news. I mean, or you're not paying attention. Because if the prosecutors accept what is in this indictment, then the president just became an unindicted co-conspirator. That's the simple matter of it. I mean, if they believe that what's in this indictment is true and that he was directed to make this payment, they clearly believe the payment was a campaign finance violation, then the president just became an unindicted co-conspirator. And he could become an indicted co-conspirator depending on the timing and circumstances. Now, that's enough to concentrate the mind of any White House lawyer. This is far more dangerous than what happened with Manafort. The president's right. It's completely separate in that case from him. Cohen is not.
And these are the charges.
I mean, I think that's right. I think Jonathan Turley, good take alert. Good take alert. You want to see? All right. You want to see what Alex Jones's reaction? Well, obviously, as many people have seen on the many people have seen on the legacy media, Donald Trump now trying to hold his fort, not the Manafort, his fort, while all the goblins, vile creatures come up from under the swamp, scaly faces, seaweed coming down their cheeks, angled cheeks. We're talking like elven, maybe a little bit more half elven, maybe cursed. I'm thinking about maybe they're wearing chainmail. Not tiny ringlets, but larger ringlets. They're holding cutlasses. Maybe a goblin with chainmail and a cutlass with a tiny little bit like a crescent moon taken out. And they're trying to make their way, and they're hacking through the underbrush. One of the goblins goes in and grabs a frog and just eats it. I'm gonna get you, Trump. As they make their way through the marshland, they look upon a shining castle, one of prosperity, free speech for all the Christians, free thinkers, libertarians, conservatives, Republicans. And it is at that moment that they see the beacon, the shining, free citadel of everything that we can and could be, that they hear a voice telepathically from their master, George Soros. And he says, get them all, leave none behind. And when you just do me a favor. Smell that. Smell what that smells like. Bile. Disgusting. Rotted, gutted fish. Unlike the clean fish oil that you can get at InfoWarsStore.com. If you just go to InfoWarsStore.com, you can get not only Alpha Brain fish oil, Omega-5 fish oil. This is better than Omega-3. 2 better than that. If you set it to repeat, you're going to get 10% off by now going to InfoWarsStore.com. I want you to make sure that there are no mistakes made in our American democracy, which is why I'm going to beg you to please support free speech by getting an InfoWars eraser. It's one of them little pink erasers you're going to put on the back of a pencil. We're selling them as cheap as we can here, folks. We want to make sure that you live a prosperous life and you do not spend, while you are trying to support the good freedom fighters in the world, that you do not get put behind the 8 ball, $5 per eraser. That's the best we can do. Use offer code Goblins wearing chainmail with a cutlass that's got that one crescent moon thing taken out of it at checkout, and you'll get 2% off. Curious Wicked. Hey, jury. This week I learned that you're off a pile of unknown things. I presume they are marvelous. I'd like to support those things. Oh, my God. Thank you. Curious Wicked. Big Big donation, man. Oh, I know, Sono Champ. I do need to fix it. Man, I gotta do shit, man. There's gotta be fucking unending political chaos more often so I can do these streams. I'm trying to do my best, man. My Twitter feed is going a mile a minute. I can't keep my eyes on shit. All right. I think that's about all we can do right now. If there is anybody else with stuff that we have not covered, some back to boring politics. Where is America's president is respected and the world is safe, or chaos and fear, but more jury? Yeah, you got to decide. Sassy 2020. That's a fact. All right, here. You want to know what? Open questions. We'll do that for 10 minutes, and then we'll wrap this up because I still do have a bunch of shit I got to do today. I got to send a bunch of these motherfuckers to... We have 2 presidential libraries interested in carrying the contender. We're sending samples. I've wasted an hour listening to cable news when I could have been listening to jury. Yeah, Doc Hawk, you fucked up. You fucked up. So, all right. Rapid fire questions. Rapid fire questions. Go ahead and hit me up. Which ones? Shit. I probably shouldn't say. But I'll say one of the presidents is number 1. We'll say another one is number 4. All right, here we go. Rapid fire. What was the best match of TakeOver and SummerSlam? My favorite match was Adam Cole and Ricochet, and on SummerSlam, I really, really, really liked Nakamura and Jeff Hardy. Would you rather fight 100 duck-shaped horses or the encroaching fear that we're all truly alone in the universe? Well, considering the fact that I regularly fight the second, I take the duck-sized horses. Is the economy really Trump's doing or Obama's? I mean, if you really want to bear down on it, it's neither. The president winds up getting credit for a lot of stuff that they don't really control. The economy is probably the biggest one of them. I will say that, yeah, neither is my answer. That being said, I think that no matter who is in charge, the economy is, think of it in an RPG sense, a persistent +2 or plus or -2, no matter who they are and how it's going. Who will control the Senate after the midterms? The Republicans. If I were betting, I would say the Republicans. Democratic 2020 candidate. Like, who will win the nomination? If, like, I had $100 that I had to bet, you gave me $100, I had to bet, I would say Kirsten Gillibrand. Just kidding, I'd say Joe Biden. Just kidding, I'd say Bernie Sanders. I don't know. It's such a long shot. If I were going to bet anybody safe money, I would say Bernie. I'll say Bernie. Will there be retrial for the mistrials? Asked Bear Walk. Well, yeah, it depends on whether or not Paul Manafort decides to cooperate with Robert Mueller. Now, doesn't it? Do wrestlers have their own libraries? No, but they ought to. Does Trump talk about this at all during his pep rally tonight? Is it what everybody's talking about? Is it about Donald Trump? Then, oh, hell yeah, he's going to talk about it tonight. Does this help the Dems win the Senate? I don't think so. Again, as a midterm thing, Trump's gonna hunker in no matter what the situation is. And I don't know if impeach this asshole now does more to excite an already excited Dem electorate or excites an unexcited conservative electorate. My guess is that it'll excite a conservative electorate just as much as the already redlining Dem electorate is. Would you rather indict 100 Cohen-sized Manaforts or one Manafort-sized Cohen? I'll take the one. 100 trials would take a lot longer. Would you vote for Trump if he proposed a ban on mayonnaise? No. I believe in freedom of condiments. Is Bernie too old to run in 2020? I thought both those motherfuckers in 2016 were too old to run. That didn't seem to matter to anybody. Joe Biden is having health problems, right? Yes. Who would be Kamala Harris's running mate? Kim Chase? Or who would be Kamala Harris's running mate? Oh, God, no. I have no idea. The Scott Steiner Library it is. Yeah, sure. Can Manafort be put into double jeopardy trial? No. But he could probably watch Double Jeopardy starring Ashley Judd. Manafort is looking up to 80 years in jail that he has been found guilty for. That's not a question, but I agree with you. What risks do you think a Dem wave poses going forward? What do you think will happen if the Democrats take, let's just say for argument, both? I think that they would probably look to impeach the president. Or would effectively turn this into a continued 2020 campaign. I mean, the 2020 campaign will begin in earnest election night in 2 months. Who does Hulk Hogan vote for in the midterms? What about The Rock? I think Hulk Hogan will vote straight Republican. I think he'll vote for Rick Scott for Senate. I can't remember the gubernatorial candidates in Florida. And I think he'll vote for living life the only way I know how, brother. Takes a picture of a sunset, HH. What do you think about a Franken 2020 run? Good luck. Can you imagine Al Franken running with 5 other women on stage? Stop it. Will Elon ever invite the third biggest flat earther to fly in a rocket? And will they accept? Yes, I'll say. Do you open your Poke gift so I can send you another? If you're, I'm sorry, man. I got a lot of friends. I hit my Poke gift opening limit every single day. If I haven't opened your Poke gift, I apologize. Does Donald Trump get impeached or does he resign and become another Alex Jones? The smart money now is on him either losing in 2020 or serving out a term until 2024, even today. Believe it or not. I would still bet on that. In fact, I would take a bet that he will win re-election over him being impeached. If Dems get both parts of Congress, impeachment will start within a week of swearing in and voting in or removing him within a month. And we'll see. I mean, that's a lot easier thing to say than it is to do. Just ask the Republicans. Sector 7. Please don't say that I live in Iowa and I'm not sure I can handle 2 years of election talk. Buckle up, buddy. And I hope to see you. I'm definitely going back to Des Moines in fucking 2020. I love Des Moines. Des Moines was fucking great. Talazarel, why do you charge so much for the newsletter? The newsletter's free. By the way, free advertising, freepoliticalnewsletter.com. If you were listening to me right now, we got a pretty good crowd here today. If you don't know who I am, my name is Justin Robert Young. I talk politics. I got a political podcast. It's called Politics, Politics, Politics. That's easy to remember. How about my newsletter? It's called the Free Political Newsletter. That's easy to remember too. Go to freepoliticalnewsletter.com. Sign up for it right now. It's free. It's political. It's a newsletter. 5 days a week, 5 stories a day. Some hot takes, mostly gifts. What will be the title of Trump's tell-all book after his presidency? Oh, God, that's easy. MAGA. Make America great again. Living in Iowa, I'm sick of campaign ads. Real quick. I loved watching the local Iowa television news because they're so fucking jaded. It's so great. Do you think the tapes on Hardball tonight will actually have the N-word on them? No. I think if she had N-word tapes, she would have led with the N-word tapes. For an impromptu stream, this chat is packed. Yeah, buddy. Of the possible 2020 Dem candidates you mentioned earlier, who do you think would win in a Royal Rumble? Oh, that's a good one. Kamala Harris. I think she's the youngest, right? Because I got to go the youngest in a Royal Rumble. How long do I work on the newsletter each day? About an hour to an hour and a half. Yeah, Amish Overlord. He says, wouldn't it be Made America Great Again? Sure. Some play off that, but it'll be MAGA themed. It's the most famous part about his campaign. It's basically his Yes We Can. Art of the Deal 2, Presidential Boogaloo. All right. Well, on that note, we are going to wrap up this special stream, this special podcast. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening. We almost did a full fucking show right here. We're right back to do the actual PX3 tomorrow on this channel at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That is 2 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. Greatly appreciated. But until next time, friends.
Politics, 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 politics.
Doctor is dancing in the corner. I really wish I could show this to you. It is adorable. I didn't know that he loved the PX3 sound so much. All right. Some shows talk about politics. Some shows talk about politics. Some shows talk about politics. This is the only show that talks about all three. See y'all later.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.